And welcome back to the channel, survivors. In today's video, we're going to be diving back into Enshrouded. As you guys already know, I love making content for this game, and I will not stop making content for you guys as long as you keep on watching the videos. In today's video, we're going to be diving into 5, potentially 6 really important resources that I know you clicked on this video that you cannot find something on this list. Alrighty, so diving right in, that brings us to the very first resource, and that is Amber. You guys know that Amber is very important for several different upgrades via the Alchemist. When you talk to the Alchemist, he can make several different gear sets, especially for the magic users out there, and additionally, this is going to be utilized to upgrade your altar at some point in time. So now for you guys to find Amber, we're going to go ahead and click on our map, and I'm currently at the ancient spire of Revelwood. Alright, so if we go ahead and back out of the map, you can see it is directly north from the Cinder Vault where you start. So just go ahead and head north from the spawn location, and you'll eventually discover the next ancient spire, especially if you're continuing on through the quest line. But anyways, here, once you officially arrive at the ancient spire in Revelwood, this entire section here that's covered in Shroud is actually filled full of nodes that have Amber on them. The very first one we're going to head to is actually straight across over here, as you can see on the map, and then the next one that I'm going to show you is actually all the way to the north, tip here. Both of these are really good locations that I constantly fly back to. All right, so as you can see here, upon landing, if we head back here to this rock directly behind, this is going to be the first location that I told you about right over here. Now, this is going to be the hotspot node that I like to currently farm. We have officially arrived at the second location. As you can see here on the map, if I go ahead and zoom out, right here at the very tip, right here on this back wall, there are several different locations, and once again, it's indicated by this really bright orange color you can see here on the outside of the rocks. Now, diving into the next resource, I'm going to show you how to get, and that brings us to these awesome luminous blocks. In order for you guys to get these, what you're going to need is a pickaxe once again. Now, this is going to be just a random dungeon that I have here on the map. You can see if I go ahead and zoom out, it is going to be called the Hidden Tomb Entry. But that's not the only place you can get them. Literally almost any tomb, any vault, any sort of underground cave system will have these individual sections. So if we go ahead and run through here, we're going to go ahead and just make our way all the way to the chest room. As I walk and run all the way around to the backside here, you'll eventually come to this room, which once again, as you are familiar with, will normally have a coffin sitting here. We went ahead and destroyed the coffin in this case, but what we're going to do is actually pull out our pickaxe, and you can see this blue aura that illuminates from the edges here. If we actually jump over that, don't worry, it won't kill you, it won't do any damage to you, but go ahead and start mining away. And then eventually you will start to get some of this luminous growth, as you can see popping up on the left-hand side of the screen. And as you can see here via the workbench, it does take 5 luminous growths in order for you guys to turn it into one single luminous block. But again, one block does add a lot of lighting to a room. I only have 4 in this one, and at nighttime, it really lights up the entire place with this beautiful blue aura. Alright, so now for the next resource, that brings us to salt. I'm sure you guys need a lot of salt when it comes to making dried fur and dried food items from the Huntress themselves. If you guys are looking to become a ranger or boost your ranging class, the Huntress actually provides the best armor to do that, but unfortunately, it does require dried fur. In order for you guys to do that, you're going to need to get salt. So anyways, here, if we actually go ahead and go back to the starting zone, which is the Cinder Vault, and yes, you can teleport to here, but if you go ahead and head here, this is actually going to be probably the best way in the game to farm salt, especially early on. The little patch of Shroud that you actually have through here, you can see right over here to the right hand side from where I'm standing, is actually going to be a spot that is outside of the Shroud that's kind of like, above the Shroud area, and it actually does provide salt on it in abundance. We're going to go ahead and head that direction, and we're going to use our glider to pretty much jump off the edge here. If you don't have the glider, you can utilize the path to work your way through there. Just stay on the path and head to the right from the path that you come down over there. Alrighty, so once you've officially made it over here to the tower, once again, you can walk here via the path, as I mentioned already, right here from up at the very top, or you could glide down here. But either way, once you've officially landed here at the tower, you will see a bunch, and I mean a bunch of salt. That is what all of this white silver stuff is that looks like a bunch of blocks on the side of here. So if you go ahead and pick out your pickaxe and you start mining it, I highly recommend that once you discover this, even early game, to pick up on the salt and hold on to it, because it won't be too long once you start upgrading or unlocking the NPCs and then getting yourself into, like I said, the best ranger gear when it comes to boosting your ranged damage and sorts and increasing your stamina via the Huntress NPC. Now, next up, we have another resource called Mint Mushroom Meat. This one is going to be another really big important one. It's going to be really good for a handful of items that you can craft. As for the location, if we click on our map, you can see I'm just, north from the Cinder Vault from the starting location. But if we head actually east, we're going to go to Umber Hollow. So this entire Shroud area here is where we can actually farm all of the mint mushroom meat till your heart's content. Alrighty, so once you are inside the Umber Hollow, it doesn't really matter what location or area you are, as long as you're seeing nothing but green here on your screen. Don't worry, it's not going to hurt you. It just functions just like the regular Enshrouded. But we're going to go ahead and jump down here, and now all of these little tall mushrooms that you can see in all different directions, you're actually going to chop them down with your regular axe, but all of these will give you some of those mint mushroom meat. So we're going to go ahead and collect them. You can see the small ones give you a handful of them, maybe 2 to 3 of them a piece, but then these really big ones, these really tall mushrooms, are going to be the best for when it comes to this mint mushroom meat. They drop 4 to 5 each time, which again is really, really nice. So just farm these until your heart's content from this location. Keep in mind that it is still technically in the Shroud, therefore you will not be able to fast travel until you reach higher ground or get yourself out of here, so keep an eye on your timer. But in general, it's very easy to achieve, and you might have to kill some mobs here and there in order for you guys to successfully harvest it safely. And now next up, we have the Ammonia Gland. Now this is going to be another resource you're going to be looking for around the same time you're looking for the mint mushroom meat, and because we're already currently in here, well, I got to keep an eye on our Enshrouded timer. But anyways, here, that is going to be the mob you're looking for inside of this green area. They spawn like crazy everywhere in here, but you can see it's that red big mushroom floating above. Now they do actually do poison damage, but when they go to actually attack, there is a hesitation, so you should have no problem actually taking them on as long as you're just constantly dodging. If you're a ranged class, it's really, really easy, and if you happen to use fire attacks like myself, it's even easier. Keep an eye out here, though, that once they do actually get destroyed or die, they do this poison radius. You don't want to stand in that because it will take your health really, really quick. But if you go ahead and kill one of them, you will see this one, for instance, dropped 5 Ammonia Glands and also 2 Shroud Sacks, another really good and important resource you're going to need when it comes to upgrading things and crafting specific items. And now, last but not least, a very important resource that I want to show you guys how to gather, because it took me forever to figure it out, and that is the Fossilized Bone pieces. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this is specifically for, once again, mage armor or the magic armor sets that you can craft via the Alchemist. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how to locate them, and that actually brings us to, on the map, the ancient spire of the Nomad Highlands. And as we can see directly west of the ancient spire here, we have these giant rib cage looking cylinder items. Now this is actually going to be where we can get the fossilized bone fragments. And we are officially here, as you can see, down at the bottom of this giant rib cage of whatever this creature was, which clearly was massive. But anyways, here you can see all of these pieces, including the centerpiece where the vertebrae would have been of whatever creature this is. If you go ahead and pull out your copper pickaxe or a pickaxe in general, we're going to go ahead and utilize the copper one, and you can see that's where we get the fossilized bone, once again, that we need for specific recipes. Like I said, guys, it took me forever to find this one here, but it is a very, very good spot to farm them, and probably the best spot to farm them. And now one quick bonus resource that I completely forgot about until I just saw that it was right here next to the fossilized bone, and that actually brings us to a really good way to farm twigs in the game. Especially if you guys are a ranger class, you're going to need a lot of twigs to make a bunch of different arrows, and that brings us to these little burrow things, as you can see here, that looks like they're made clearly out of a bunch of twigs. You can find these all throughout the Nomad Highlands, but anyways, again, we're going to go ahead and pull out our pickaxe of sorts. You go inside, you might have to kill a couple of either wolves or, some mobs and stuff to make sure that it obviously doesn't attack you. But anyways, once you go ahead and you can pull out the pickaxe, Start mining all of these little areas, and you'll just get a handful of twigs. Again, this is just a really good source of twigs really fast versus collecting a bunch of different bushes or, farming down specific trees. And that's going to wrap up our video for today on these 6, maybe 7 important resources here for Enshrouded. Hopefully all of this helps you out. If you have any additional questions, always drop a comment down below, and I will do my best to respond to them one by one. Additionally, don't forget to subscribe here on the channel for everything Enshrouded related. And last but not least here, if you guys are looking for a awesome Discord community, we would love to have you. You can find that link down below in the description. With that being said, as always, guys, you have a good one, and I will see you all on the next one.